Scraped your knee up and you had that black scab, but it starts itching. You want to peek underneath to see how it's healing, and your mom goes, "Don't pick at that." But we all picked it up, and you pick it up, and it's that. You were little and you scraped your knee up, and you had that black scab, but it starts itching. You want to peek underneath to see how it's healing, and your mom goes, "Don't pick at that." But we all picked it up, and you pick it up, and it's that gooey yellow stuff. That's the platelet-rich plasma that heals your knee, so that my knee has the same wrinkles that it did before I scraped it off and left it on the pavement. So when we ever do vampire facelifts, what you do is we draw your blood, spin it down to the gooey yellow stuff, and we inject it in places where you've lost collagen. Because as we age, we get flattened areas of our face. Like we just, no matter how much cream I put on, unless it's hyaluronic acid is great if you can find it in a skincare product. It brings collagen and fluid in there. But we inject it right there in our office, and then you build over the next 3 weeks collagen. And people have no idea what you've done. They think, "Man, she had a good rest last night." And you go, "Yeah, I had a good nap." But what it is it lasts about 1.5 years. And it's the full effect is so beautiful, and it's immediate. People are like, "Oh my gosh." And I see them walk out of the office and they're happier. You know, we don't want to look tired, but we're all tired because we work so hard. We're all professional. I can't believe you guys made it here. That's the last place I'd want to be after a long day, but you're here because you want to encourage like these young girls. Like, look, we can do it. We can make the difference in the world like you guys are. Okay, what other questions? That's a very good question.
Are you considered a primary care physician now?
No, I'm not a primary care physician because that's a very good question. Integrative physicians integrate conventional medicine with your other doctors. So I've seen psychiatric patients in the office, but I told them, make sure you still see your psychiatrist. This guy came in looking like this. I'm so glad you asked. 24 years old, no self-esteem, because every time he makes an appointment for a job interview, he has a panic attack. So he just quit trying because he's just can't get a job because he never knows. So I talked to him and he said, yeah, every time I'm with my psychiatrist, he talks to me, but not really. He just sits there and then he writes me a prescription. He didn't even look up at me. He doesn't really care. He just wants me to take this medicine. It's not helping. I'm still having panic attacks. So my husband and I learned a technique of bellows breath where you can actually, in the middle of a panic attack, control your own panic attack and stop it. Because most of the time when people have panic attacks, they have to have a pill that controls it. Well, if you don't have the pill around, or if you can't get to the ER in time to stop the panic attack. So we practiced it with him in the office. So now he has a tool that, okay, fine, if he has a panic attack on the way to the interview or the date, he can stop it right then without having to take a pill, without having to go to the ER. And you know, he left the office like this. He had something, right? He had power now. We took that pill, and he said that pill is no longer in charge of your panic attacks or your anxiety. Now you've got the power. So the job is, the whole thing that we've heard through our training is the body can heal itself. You just have to give it the right tools. The right sleep, diet, nutrition, hormones, and socialization. It's really, really important. Very good question.
So it sounds like you're saying like restoring health versus covering up, treating symptoms.
Yes. How many of you guys know friends that at the age of 38, they are exhausted, emotional at home, the husbands think they're crazy. Thank you, Amy. The husbands think they're outrageous. She throws things at me. She doesn't want to have sex with me anymore. These women are just at wit's end. They don't know what's wrong. And they tell you, I went to my doctor and she thinks that I should just take Prozac. Right? Well, what Dr. Adams said is they're helping you. Like, I used to do that too, because you need something to get you through the next week. But then come see one of us, because that doctor is helping you in the emergency painting the house so that you can survive and not lose your job. But what we do underneath is we heal your systems that are bothering you. You could have adrenal fatigue, or it's called adrenal burnout syndrome, which is where you're making abnormal cortisol levels, which causes hormone stealing. You can only make cortisol, which is a stress hormone, or your hormones. You can't make both at the same time. One of them's got to give. So most of us at the age of 30, we start getting abdominal weight gain, we start getting fatigue, we start getting insomnia, not because we're depressed. It's because we've raised like 3 kids, and now they're teenagers, and now we're tired, right? You don't need an antidepressant. You just need a few tools. We don't do things that are expensive. You know, except for the vampire stuff, that's expensive, but it's trademarked. But we give you things that you can use in your daily life so you don't have to stay on Prozac or Zoloft all the time. So the doctors are trying to help you. So I never take patients away from other doctors. They just need to work with us. So we're integrative. She asked if major integrative treatments are covered by insurance. Yes, if the doctor is going to sacrifice the reimbursement. So you have integrative physicians that go through the insurance model. That means they're going to participate in all the insurances: Cigna, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, Medicare, Medicaid. Then you have integrative physicians that have decided, no, I'm going to get out of the insurance model. That's a whole fun subject for me because I got out of the insurance model. So if you're a doctor over here, they're all good-hearted doctors. Like all of our classmates, I think most of them are still participating in insurance models because they want to make the patient happy. It's scary for patients to go to a doctor that doesn't want to do insurance. But the insurance, you'll see them typing and typing and typing, probably after your visit, because they have to account in that plan to your insurance company why they're charging a 99214, which is an elevated visit, which means you spent at least 20 to 25 minutes with that patient. And if the insurance companies decide that that doctor really deserves however the reimbursement is, then they'll make it. But a lot of times, people need an hour to an hour and a half. So that's why these doctors over here decided, you know what, I'm just going to charge the patient an amount that's worth that service so that they're not seeing this patient over here and not surviving, because this doctor over here has nurses and front desk staff and phlebotomists, and they're trying to cover a huge overhead, whereas this doctor over here might not have as much overhead, but they're able to develop that quality. Because all these techniques like that breathing that I told that young man, it takes time, you know, and these are smart patients. It just takes time. I don't know which model doctors prefer more. I decided to go over here because I know that I can make it and survive longer without insurance companies dictating when I see a patient and for how long. I just feel like doctors are more stressed when they're in this group because they're having to code and make insurance companies happy in order to get enough reimbursement to survive and pay for all their staff. Whereas over here, you know, you're just a little more relaxed. So you're not like stressed out. I think Dr. Chris Link, if any of you go to him, he still does insurance model as well. And he does very well. Ooh.
Did that change the makeup of your patients? When you went to the model that you're using, did that?
Oh, totally. She asked a very good question. When a doctor goes through a transition like this and then decides, is this worth changing things for patients? Because it scares patients to death. I made it to the Jeff City Good, Bad, and Ugly on a Thursday on January when it hit everyone's door that I was going cash. And our staff was like, we're on the Good, Bad, and Ugly. I'm like, it took 4 hours. And I didn't look because I was so scared. And thank the Lord, the first patient that responded on that thread was, don't worry, her fees are reasonable. You just take your receipt from paying for that visit and you resubmit it to your insurance after. It's okay, it's okay. Thank the Lord it was her, because it could have gone the other way. But I have a lot of patients that have left me. I don't really know the percentage because I also quit obstetrics at the same time because I need that time where I'm not like, okay, I'll come over, break her water. Yeah, she can have Toradol. And then I'm going back just talking about breathing. So I had to make some sacrifices even though I loved OB. So there's a whole flux of patients that left because they needed doctors who still do deliveries. So, but I remember, I think our staff would like copy off like 20 charts a week of patients that went to other practices. But then I'm getting other patients that are new that are coming in that kind of want this model. So patients have to go where they want to go. But doctors, if you're going to do this, like, just be ready to just go through a big change, and you have to know why you're doing it. Because I've never regretted it one bit, because I shouldn't say this, but I kicked and fired the pimp out of the office. The pimp was the insurance companies telling me, oh, I gotta look like a pimp. You ready? I got this from Dr. Runnels. You all are the doctors, okay? Now you're the doctors. This is how they treat doctors. Hey, I want you to see this many patients an hour. Yeah, you can't do anything about it. I'm going to give you this much money per patient. I'm sorry if you're seeing my underwear. It's so unsexy. It's my granny panties. You're going to see this many patients in an hour. I'm going to give you this much money per patient. You can't do anything about it. I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm going to tell you how often to see your patient. I'm going to tell you what medicines to give them. You can't do anything. Take it or leave it. You're mine, BITCH. So thank you. So I was able to fire my pimp, and I have never looked back. I have went to see my psychologist once, because that's how much transition it takes in an office. I answer the phones unless I'm in with the patient. The lab answers for me. I check you guys in and out. I can do it because I love what I do. I would never go back. I'm free.
Provide your patients like instructions on how to go about billing their insurance?
Oh yeah, we know all the codes, so we give you all the codes to call that little 1-800 customer service line on the back, and you just tell them, I just saw Jennifer Sue. She doesn't participate in insurance. I want reimbursement for my visit. Our receipt has how much you paid, which our annual exams are $75, right? $75, because you don't have to raise the prices up, because you don't have a pimp telling you how much to charge the patient, so they get all the money. Oh my gosh, I'm never going to get insurance coverage. I have been so outspoken that I'm sure when I need insurance, they're going to be like, forget her. She called us a pimp for 5 years. I'm going to be in so much trouble, but I don't care, because doctors are slowly making a difference. The first ones in town, who were they? Dr. Schaefer, Meyer, and Hart. They kicked them out of their practice. They said, enough of this pimpishness. And then there's lots. Dr. Carrie Vaughn. Then at the end of the visit, you'll get a receipt, and it has the CPT procedure code and the ICD code while you're there. That's all they want. And they're reimbursing our patients the full $75. They're kind of giving me feedback over the last 8 months that we've been doing this. For the Medicare patients, they're getting $65 back on their $75. See, the issue is whether you want the insurance companies dictating how often you see your doctor or not. Our patients, pretty much, if they get a pap smear annual exam today, if they want to see me again tomorrow for another annual exam, they can. I don't know who would want to do that, but yeah, they are free. You all are free to make your own healthcare decisions. Under insurance, you're only allowed to see me once every 365 days. What if you think, I want to get a pap a little bit sooner? You can't, unless you want to do something like we're doing. That's the amount of control insurance companies are having over us. And if you work for an insurance company, you're not the evil person. You just work for a big company. You're not evil if you work for an insurance company or you sell insurance. We're talking a societal problem. This isn't you guys. So don't, just key their car on the way out. I have friends that work at insurance companies. They're not the evil enemy. This is a problem in society, why an insurance company can tell us what to do, what medications to take, how to see a doctor, which doctor to see. It's crazy. What else? You guys have been great. Oh, wait, one more.